I'm gonna design and 3D print a shoe from scratch and then wear it to the world's largest sneaker convention, SneakerCon. And then maybe even wear it every day for the following week. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler and today we're attempting the ridiculous. So as a professional industrial designer with the sneaker addiction, 3D printing a pair of shoes is something I've wanted to do for a very long time. And for years I thought about it, I kept making excuses like I don't have the right computer programs or I don't have the right 3D printers. But finally, last month I decided, you know what? Let's just do it. I mean, people have been making 3D printed shoes for years, pretty much ever since 3D printers have been out. Even big companies like Adidas. This is the Adidas 4D Futurecraft, which has actually been out since 2015. Now granted, only the bottom half of the shoe is 3D printed, but it means that it is possible. So I decided to take the leap and buy a 3D printer. I had 3D printers in the past, but they were all very old. I had gotten rid of them or sold them or whatever, and I just didn't have one in my house right now. But unfortunately, the first one that I grabbed that I picked up on Amazon ended up being garbage, and I literally wasn't even able to get one print out of it. Sucks. So at that point, I decided to go all in on this video, which might have been a bad idea because this video could absolutely tank, and I bought a $1,300 printer. It was ridiculous. I also may have gotten a $2,000 SolidWorks subscription, which looking back is the wrong program to use for making shoes. But to be fair, it's the only 3D program that I'm familiar with, and every other program I'd have to learn, whereas this one I could just jump right into it. So I spent a lot of money on this video, but hopefully because I dropped all that money, I should in theory have an endless supply of shoes, so I never need to buy another pair of shoes ever again. I have a bad feeling that that's not exactly what's gonna happen. But soon my Prusa 3D printer was in, and after doing some test prints, I realized that this printer was definitely worth the investment, and I ended up printing out a size 9 last because I wear a size 9 shoe, and I needed to make sure that I could actually print a size 9 shoe on this printer. And let me be honest, it barely worked. And because my foot size was unfortunately just slightly bigger than the print bed, it meant that I had to print all the size 9 stuff at a weird angle, which means it like doubled the print time. However, one thing about this printer that I was really happy about was that this printer was capable of printing flexible filament, which means it could essentially print rubber, and I test printed this free sandal that I found on Thingiverse, and it actually worked out great. Now unfortunately I couldn't try this sandal on because it's significantly smaller than a size 9, but it was a proof of concept, and it proved that this printer could print flexible shoes. So at this point it was time to design, and honestly I had no designs in mind. I was trying to print the simplest thing that was wearable, and because of that it was not the most beautiful design in the world. In fact, this was also the first time that I had ever modeled a pair of shoes in SolidWorks, which I definitely don't recommend, and because of that I had to go through a couple iterations, and they were all honestly very ugly. But hey, I ended up with this sort of Croc style clog that kind of looked like a pair of Fear of God slides. It wasn't the prettiest, but hopefully it would work, and because I modeled it around that size 9 last in 3D, it should fit my foot. And at this point it was time to print. However, there is one thing that I keep forgetting to mention, and that's that these shoes needed to be ready to go for SneakerCon, which was in like 5 days. And because I had wasted so much time on iterations of these shoes in SolidWorks, I only had like 4 days to print these shoes out, and that proved to be a problem. Alright, so the shortest time I could get it down to was 2 days and 6 hours for one shoe. So it's gonna take about 5 days actually, to print a full pair. So hopefully the first shoe works, otherwise we have to make changes and then reprint it. I really hope this works.
5 hours later.
So inside the shoe, it's a very thin, I guess, bit of support. So it's probably gonna be very soft and very comfortable, but it might not last that long. Okay, so we've got 11 hours and 6 minutes left. This is where we're at. We're actually a lot farther along than I would have thought. You've got almost the entire outsole in. You've got almost the entire heel in, which is kind of crazy. The infill right there, again, looks a little bit thin, but I think because the midsole is so thin in and of itself, and also like the actual exterior of the shoe is thicker, it should be okay. But we'll just have to wait and see. We'll find out in like 12 hours if I can actually even wear this shoe, like if it even fits. Which is the main thing I'm worried about. Because if this doesn't work out, we've got to reprint it or redesign it and then reprint it and then print a whole nother shoe. If this one does work out, I'll rip this off tonight and then we can start printing the next shoe and hopefully have these by SneakerCon. We're getting close. We're getting close. This is crazy. 3 days worth of printing. I'll come to a head right now. Hopefully it fits. I really hope it fits. So this shoe only has 58 minutes left, which is amazing. The problem is, SneakerCon is in 3 days, or I guess 4 days, but I have to leave in 3 days. And in order to get a second shoe, I have to start printing this shoe immediately. It is almost 12 o'clock. It's 10:43. So this ends in an hour. And then I have to get this guy going, and I've been able to sort of optimize it in my slicer so that it prints a little bit faster, not much, but a little bit faster, and that should cut it down to 2 days and 5 hours, which means that this will be done at 5 a.m. the day that I leave for SneakerCon. If this has a problem or something goes wrong, that's it, it's over. So hopefully this Prusa keeps it up, knock on wood. We keep having flawless prints, and the shoe fits. Because if it doesn't, it's over at this point. I mean, that's ridiculous. The shoe is going to take 2 days and 5 hours and 32 minutes to print. Now, that's probably about an hour and a half shorter than this shoe. I kind of wish I'd flipped this and then sort of leaned it, and that should have given us a little bit less of a print time, but not by much. We still would be in a similar position. All right, so moment of truth. It took 53 hours and 55 minutes for this to finish. So now let's pull it off the print bed. 54 hours of printing led to this. I really don't want to damage the print, but I also want to pull all of the support material off so that I can print the next shoe as soon as possible. There we go. There's all the support material flopping around on the side. Oh man, it's really welded in there. Here is the problem that I'm running into. So the support material is connected. I've got to cut it right here and then try and pull the shoe out, or pull the support material off. Now, I've got to say, that's not great. The bottom of the shoe is crazy flexible. I don't know how long this is gonna last. I'm a little concerned, not gonna lie. I'm trying to be as careful as I can while still pulling out the support material. I got it. This was all the support material inside the shoe. I actually cut myself ripping it out. But here it is, man, the finished shoe. Oh man, I'm praying this shoe fits. I also gotta clean off the print surface so that I can print the next shoe. And I gotta do that as quickly as possible because like I said, we are on a very, very tight timeline. We've got 53 hours and 12 minutes remaining. This is what the print looks like. I'm gonna go to bed and I'll come back to you guys tomorrow morning.
Several days later.
Let's see. It's done, we did it. It only took 53 hours and 14 minutes. Let's get this guy pulled off and then let's try him on. I always forget how hard it is to take off flex support material. It just never wants to come off. Finally. And now we have two. Now let's try these on. Okay, moment of truth. We find out whether these 3D printed shoes actually fit, which is something I should have tried before I printed at least the second one, but I didn't. So here we go. So I'm gonna try the left one first because this is the second one that I printed. It's tight, but it fits. That's great. Ooh, it's real tight though, but it does fit. Let's try the right one. Jeez. All right, so we've got them on. Let's see how they feel. Ooh, real tight. And that support material underneath the shoe is not doing much. I mean, it's making it a little bouncy, and I'm hearing air coming out of it. Where's that coming from? Uh-oh. Okay, well, hopefully I can wear these shoes for a couple days. The only part that really hurts on these shoes is like right there in the back. That's really digging into my foot. I wish I'd made this a little bit wider, but other than that, it's just like wearing a tight shoe. That's the only issue. And the problem is, I feel like if I had made these any bigger, they wouldn't have fit on the 3D printer. So I feel like they had to be this size. But for a first attempt at a 3D printed shoe, not mad about it. People like
you're probably gonna be mad at me for how I did this. But
why?
Because I messed up a little. I tried to zoom out when I zoomed in, and
can you hear that? What is that? It sounds like an inflated balloon. They look stupid though. These look real dumb. Not gonna lie about that. So we are here at SneakerCon in DC, and I actually brought my 3D printed slides to wear them around and ask what people thought about them. And so the first person I'm gonna ask is actually the co-founder of my sock brand Apothecary, Osman. Cleaning the sock booth at the moment. So what do you think?
So I'm a 3D printed expert. I think you did a really good job. The sole's a little soft, so your infill needs to go up, but design-wise, it's pretty cool.
We got Josh here. What do you think about the slides, the 3D printed slides?
They feel crazy. Are they comfy?
No.
No?
Not really.
They look cool though.
Thanks, man. I appreciate
really
it.
cool.
They're like a little small too.
And this is all 3D printed?
Yeah, it's all 3D printed, same piece. It took 56 hours per slide.
Dang.
Yeah, tighter than I remember. Do you guys like the way that they look on foot? They look a little goofy, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they don't, like under the foot, although they are squishy, they don't feel bad. It's really just like right in here, and then right back there is where the pain is.
I think the through hole doesn't help the design.
No, it doesn't. It's not it looks real bad with jeans. I think it's that. Dude, yo, you gotta stop clowning them, bro.
I mean, I'm impressed that you were able to do this, but they look so stupid.
All right, so far, I think I've popped the right shoe and I've only been wearing it about 10 minutes, not even that, 5 minutes. Let me see, let's pull it off. So I think that there's a hole in the heel and this is already like flat. So when I actually put my foot into this, it completely flattens out. There's no give anymore. And I think it's because there's a crack or a crease right there. You can't really see it.
Dude, it's like a mix between those Fear of God slides and a Yeezy slide. Are they comfortable?
Not at all. Not even a
okay,
little bit.
well, I mean, they're not horrible.
It looks 3D printed, okay? So that's where I'm going with number one. It reminds me a lot of your Fear of God.
I'm a huge fan of this. I would wear this. I wear the Fear of God Californias very, very often. So this is right up my alley. I could take a couple different colorways of this.
This looks like something from art class. I'm not gonna lie. But I do like the lightweight of it. It's funny because it caught my eye. I even asked Ian, I go, what is he wearing?
Yeah. If I can drop this and put it on, it's a W, so let's see it. I don't know.
What material is this? Is plastic?
It's kind of like a rubbery plastic, yeah.
It's so weird. Oh, it's like hollow too.
Oh yeah, you can like squeeze it, you can bend it, you can do whatever you want with it.
Why didn't you put like jelly inside of it or something?
Honest thoughts, it's gonna be a tight squeeze for me to fit into these things, man. This is all made from 3D printing?
Yep.
Man,
You
are
make
these
these out of a
3D
3D
printed?
printer?
These are fire! 3D printed?
The only time I remember using a 3D printer was middle school.
That's
How long
crazy.
did it take?
It took 56 hours per shoe.
Definitely different looking.
Yeah.
They're definitely different looking.
It's kind of like the Fear of God, like quads or slides.
So when I first saw these, what immediately stuck out to me was how the like rectangles here reflect in the light, which I think is a really cool thing about them. And I think that the actually the footbed, the shock absorption feel to it is great. Yeah.
Well, that's because there's barely any infill in the bottom.
Yeah, which is a good thing sometimes.
True.
That's how you get like a sponge, you know.
If you guys don't know, this is the founder and designer of Keto. So I had to take them off. I've worn them for about 7 hours. I needed a break. I really needed a break, but I threw on my Jordan 1s, and it's crazy because the Jordan 1 is not a comfortable shoe, but it feels like I'm walking on clouds. It's nuts. But hey, you know what? I'm gonna rock them again tomorrow, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so it's day 3 wearing these guys. This is the first day that I'm not really walking around like a smooth concrete convention floor where they don't get a lot of wear. This is the first day that I'm really walking around like regular concrete sidewalks and just places that the shoe will get a lot more worn down more quickly. And the first thing I've noticed is that you can actually see on the tread the places that are actually making contact with the ground and the places that aren't. And it's interesting because it changes based on the area of the tread that I think has more or less support. It's not so much about where my foot is, it's almost like where the support material is versus where it's not. And it's kind of interesting to see, but still holding up, still very painful, but at least at least we're 3 days in and they're still wearable, which is something I didn't expect. Okay, so it's day 4 wearing the shoes. We just got out of Cheesecake Factory. Unfortunately, they're like a little slippery, so I was sliding around. But other than that, all good so far. Okay, so yeah, these aren't exactly watertight. I walked through my sprinkler by accident, and not only did my socks get wet, but the entire midsole of the shoe is filled with water now. So that's great. But now we're here, about a week and a half after SneakerCon, and I've been wearing these shoes pretty much every single day, all day since. And crazily enough, they've held up. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how 3D printed shoes are still wearable. I will say that there are some punctures in the bottom of the shoe, which means that there's not really much air left inside the shoe, so it is a little bit less comfortable than it was before, which is not saying much because it was already incredibly uncomfortable. But hey, you know what? It's still a wearable shoe. And it's crazy, if you look at the bottom of the shoe, there isn't a huge amount of wear on the material itself. Like the material actually held up really, really well. I just got like a little bit sanded, but that's about it. I'm really, really impressed by this flex material and the fact that it was, you know, able to be printed. It's kind of nuts. Now, even though overall I would say that this shoe is a success because it was wearable, I was able to wear it to a sneaker event for 2 days and then wear it for almost an entire week and a half afterwards. There were some problems with it. The first, namely being the sizing, and that's because this heel area here was a little bit too tight. And because this area was thinner than the rest of the areas of the shoe, it meant that there was much more closely condensed infill, which means that this area was a lot stiffer than other parts of the shoe, so there wasn't a lot of give in the heel, and because it was just a little bit too narrow, it really dug into my feet and there wasn't really much I could do. I was wearing Apothecary socks, the best socks in the game, and probably the only reason my feet didn't bleed was because of those Apothecary socks. So if you want to grab a pair of socks from my sock brand Apothecary, your sneakers favorite socks, a brand which has absolutely proven itself after this week and a half, make sure to click the link in the top of the description below. Seriously, the socks are incredibly comfortable, and again, if it wasn't for them, my feet would have been torn up. It's crazy. But overall, again, I can't believe these shoes lasted. That was the thing that I thought was going to fail first. I thought these shoes would literally not be wearable after like a day, but they're still wearable to this day. It's absolutely insane to me, and it makes me think that while these shoes were a struggle, and they did take a long time to print, and they're not the most comfortable shoes in the world, if I redesign them, I think we could actually make a pair of shoes that's better looking than these, more comfortable than these, and might even print faster than these. Oh, I can't guarantee that last part, but the first two things I think I can do. So if you guys want to see a part 2 to this video or a version 2 of these shoes, make sure to like this video by clicking that like button down below, subscribe to the channel by clicking that subscribe button, and leave a comment in the comment section down below letting me know what you want to see from 3D printed shoe version 2. But that pretty much wraps up the video for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, if you guys have not yet subscribed, make sure to click that subscribe button down below to see more content just like this. And as always, I'll see you all in the next one.